Breakfast with Lawrence and Nokwazi on Power 98.7. Now we're talking.
Yes, now we're talking to Paul Simple of Futuregrowth, the company Tabo was just talking about now. It's such a great initiative that they've come up with. I mean, more than 20,000 Gauteng families are set to become first-time homeowners and secure a firm foothold in the residential property market. And, of course, this comes after Futuregrowth's announcement of that 625 million rand that you're talking about, Tabo, in major housing projects being developed by the lower to middle income housing specialists, the Cosmopolitan Group. I'm sure when you drive around, you see the boards up and about everywhere in those areas. Now, we're talking to Paul Simple. Good morning, Paul. Welcome to Power Breakfast.
Hi, good morning, Ngwazi. Nice to speak to you.
Yes. Tell us about this initiative and the about turn. How did you come about to deciding to assist homeowners?
Yes, thanks. Well, we've had a long relationship with Cosmopolitan over many years, and we've funded various projects on an ad hoc basis.
Yes.
From time to time. But this was the first opportunity to provide funding for all their housing needs over the next 10 years or so. So we were very excited to take this opportunity up.
Now, how will this work? Will it work like a normal bond, the loans that you're giving to them, or will it be a free loan? How exactly will you be working this out with these families?
Okay, so Cosmopolitan is a housing developer, and they've got various pockets of land around Johannesburg, very close to the CBDs. I'd say within a 30-kilometer radius of the Johannesburg CBD. And these various pockets of land are being developed into integrated housing developments, targeting the lower to middle income class. And Futuregrowth's funding is being used to help Cosmopolitan to install the bulk services for this land, and then to build the houses on this land, which will then be sold to the market.
So then your contribution here is really just to put in the infrastructure, the external internal bulk services ranging from water and sanitation, etc. But in terms of the normal qualification processes, is that what is going to be followed in terms of the normal routes that are taken via banks, etc.?
Yes, so exactly right, Sabo. We will fund the preparation of the land. The banks typically don't like to get involved in that part of a project. They would rather fund the end user housing that the public will buy. So we are facilitating this project development to the point where the banks will take over and fund the actual houses.
So how do the actual first-time homeowners then benefit from your investment?
Well, they benefit from the opportunity that Cosmopolitan is bringing to the market to sell houses. Without our funding, Cosmopolitan wouldn't be able to get started with these projects.
Right.
That's essentially what it is.
Now, you say you will be finding people going into areas that we haven't seen a lot of low-income earners living, such as Sandton. Tell us a little bit more about this.
So, yeah, there's various areas. I think the biggest one right now is near Alberton. Mm-hmm. It's called the Watervalspruit development.
Yeah.
And over the next 10 years, Cosmopolitan will be rolling out or building around 20,000 individual houses in that development. Approximately 2,000 to 2,500 houses per year. And in fact, they've already started marketing for those houses to be rolled out early in 2017. So that's the main development. But there are also housing developments in Protea Glen, which is near Soweto, and then in the east near Boksburg, the Windmill Park, and then north of Johannesburg, the Lion Park development, which is right next to Cosmo City and Midrand.
Now, how will the families be identified? Is it just the normal processes of applying for a loan, or do you go and specifically look for those 20,000 families? And how much do these houses cost, by the way?
Okay, so right now there's massive demand for housing in Johannesburg. The housing backlog is estimated at about 850,000 units right now. So these developments are getting a lot of attention from the public. There's a lot of marketing going on by Cosmopolitan, and there's actually a queue of people for every housing development. They've put their applications in through the banks to get mortgages for these houses. And the target income market is households earning between 12 and 30,000 rand per annum. I'd say the average household income is about 20,000 rand per month, and that would fund a house worth about 450,000 rand, which is the average price that these houses sell for.
Of course, demand, as you mentioned earlier, outstrips supply by far. But are you planning as Futuregrowth, I guess, to get involved with more companies, not just Cosmopolitan, but look at other property developers so that you can expand, I guess, the reach of programs of this nature? Because really, this is real social transformation and wealth creation for people who've never actually owned homes before.
Yes, absolutely, Thabo. In fact, we will be looking, and we always are looking, and we've got a number of different infrastructure and development projects on the go. Our clients, our pension fund clients, are essentially providing the money for those through the funds that Futuregrowth has. And we're very active in the housing space.
Fantastic. Paul Sample there, I guess, Futuregrowth Portfolio Manager and Investment Analyst. This is, like I said earlier, on real social transformation and creating wealth. So people, Paul, are also able to trade up, right, when they get into the space. It's almost like creating equity as well for them.
Yes, exactly. This is typically an opportunity for the first-time home buyer to access the market. And the earlier that they buy, the easier it is to buy the next property. So this is, as you say, it's wealth creation. It's creating equity for first-time buyers in the home market.
All right, let me take a call from Ben in Cosmos City. By the way, you can call on 0861 987 000, 0861 987 000. You tweet us at I am Thabo Mdluli at Power FM 987. The hashtag is Power Breakfast. Ben is already in Cosmos City and would like to comment on this particular initiative. Hi, Ben.
Morning, Thabo, and your guest there. Apologies, I missed the name.
It's Paul. It's Paul.
Morning, Paul. Apologies. Well, I just want to say we welcome such initiatives. It is a good thing. However, I think they need to focus on the quality of the houses they build, because for people to experience that wealth is when there's value in the houses they bought. But if quality is less, they spend a whole lot of money fixing a lot of things, and at a later stage, there's very little to gain. I'm saying this, I'm in Cosmos City. I've seen a lot, and seen some houses in Atteridgeville, the same thing. I think they need to focus on there. Where possible, they need to change contractors from time to time.
Paul? How do you ensure, you regulate the quality aspect of things?
Yeah, so that is a very, very important requirement for us as well, and we spent a lot of time looking at this aspect of Cosmopolitan's operations. We've become quite comfortable with the Cosmopolitan quality. They do outsource their monitoring to external quantity surveyors and specialists, and they've got a 20-year track record in this market. They've had very little issues that we're aware of, but of course there will be, from time to time, there will be a problem. Cosmopolitan has been very, very quick to address those problems, and it's something that we pay a lot of attention to.
And Paul, if I want to get a little bit more information and detail about this particular project, and maybe I am interested in taking up the opportunity, where do I go?
Well, you could visit one of the developments. Cosmopolitan have a marketing point at each of these developments where you can go and see what they're building. And then you can put your application, your home loan application through them. They will pass it on to the banks, or you can approach the banks directly.
Fantastic. Paul Sample, there, Futuregrowth Portfolio Manager and Investment Analyst at Futuregrowth. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, Tabo.
All right, there you are. 625 million to boost first-time home ownership. There are more than 20,000 Gauteng families are set to become first-time home owners. And Futuregrowth, that's the company that said we will not fund SOEs anymore. And people were saying, well, these guys, why will they just go with their money? You know, well, they're back and they're saying, hey, we are funding and we want to put in some infrastructure, some sanitation and water infrastructure as well, bulk as well as external and internal bulk infrastructure into these cosmopolitan establishments. I'll get your thoughts. Tweets at @IamThabo Mdluli.